see Cade McNamara on the practice field for the first time since his injury. Is he looking how you need him to look at this point? Same question with Brendan Sullivan, first time you've seen guys like him. So those two guys in particular, what have you noticed from them thus far?
Yeah, I'll start with Brendan and just say this. I'll throw Jacob in there too. Both guys that joined us have really done a nice job. Cade Lower the same way. He's probably a little further away, but really good prospect. Jacob's done a really nice job. You can tell he's a veteran guy. He's been around a little bit, knows how to do things, and carries himself really well. Brendan the same way. He's done a really good job out there. For him, it is new. I mean, it started in June for him, so he's trying to catch up a little bit. And I would say the same thing with Cade, not as much mentally, but just playing wise. And grabbed him the other day, just kind of reminded me, he's missed a lot of time. He hasn't played healthy here, unfortunately, since he's been here last year, other than the first 8 days, whatever it is here before the first Saturday. So, he's doing things. He's there mentally. It's just a matter of timing and getting back used to playing again, so he can be quick and decisive with his throws, all that type of thing. So, doing a good job. Just we're not there yet. And every practice is going to be important, pretty much for everybody.
John Sempe, Cedar Rapids Gazette. You were mentioning Seth with that assistant head coach role. Aside from stepping in for Phil, how kind of do you see that role kind of playing out throughout fall camp and through the season?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a big dramatic difference. It really is kind of more of recognition. Without going into too much detail, people were knocking on his door a little bit in the out of season. I appreciate the fact that he chose to stay here. I really do, and credit to the people that were knocking on his door. It's smart. He's a really good coach and a good person. Pretty good in every aspect of his job. So I don't see his role changing significantly. Just his way just to acknowledge, I think, the work that he has done here.
Hey, Kirk. Thanks for the time today. Elliot Hawkeye Beacon. Talking a little bit more about Brendan Cade quarterback situation. I know Brendan was third on the depth chart that was released when the Big Ten Media Days. Would you say he's kind of moved into that second spot? Is he splitting maybe first team reps with Cade? What does that look like?
Yeah, we're 8 days into it right now, so not making any proclamations other than, he's done a really good job. He's picked things up pretty quickly. Good process, prospect, and one advantage he has over Marco is he's played. He's been out there, I think 6 starts, if I know correctly, and played the week before us against Maryland and looked really good in that game. So I think he's a little further ahead from that regard. He has that experience, a little bit more confidence and decisiveness for what he does. I think probably the best way I can term it right now, it's like all positions. We'll make decisions here as we go along. But the room overall is a lot more competitive than it was certainly at the end of last December. And that was the goal, try to get a room where you've got good competition. We want that in every position, and some positions are a little better than others that way.
Yeah. Hi, Kirk, over here.
Okay.
Scott Doctor with the Athletic.
Got these bright lights.
I wanted to ask you about your defense, and kind of more holistically than narrowly this year, and that is, since 2018, when you made the change to go to a catch, 4-2-5, the numbers speak for themselves as far as the growth and what the defense has been able to do. Has it surprised you that they've been so successful, especially against the run, considering you're running 2-gap and not necessarily filling every single gap with the safety and everything, and just the way that they've been able to compete at the highest level?
Yeah, I mean, that question actually triggers, I'm going back to 2000 against Northwestern out here. 2000, right? They were ranked, we weren't, obviously. I think we came off the Penn State win and played them, and they had put up 54-56. I'd have to look it up against Michigan the week we were beating Penn State. And I'll never forget leaving Norm's office that night. He and I watched that film together, and we looked like, oh boy, better get a bigger boat, And I left that night and I just said, Norm, I'm guessing we're going to match up against these guys. They were a 3-wide outfit. It was greatest showing. Turf kind of, they took some ideas from that. And next morning I came in and Norm said, we're going to play our defense. And his thought was, LeVar was our outside backer. And he felt like, let's get our best 11 guys on the field and play our defense the way we know it. It worked out beautifully. So I learned a lesson, not that I was second guessing, but it just Norm knows what he's doing, leave him alone. And so over time, you just keep looking at things, and we made that decision. If we can find the right guy, then we'll do that. And it takes two things, I think. You have to have the right guy to be able to play a position. Sebastian's really good at it. Been fortunate there. Cooper could do it. I got a couple guys right now that are working there. And then the other guys have to be able to do what they have to do. And I think we've been lucky that we've had both, the combination of both. And it's really helped us. It's just kind of offenses have evolved typically of who we play week in and week out. And, it's kind of like I mentioned with Tyler Barnes' thing, it's a whole different job than it was 20 years ago. So I think you have to look at the game that way a little bit differently too. And that's why I do chuckle a little bit about, the new teams coming in. Is it going to be a big adjustment? Well, college football has always been pretty diverse, and whether the guys from the West Coast, Middle America, or East Coast, a three-wide offense is a three-wide offense, so is a four-wide offense. So, not that big a deal. Don't run our wheel there. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Dan from right.
Coach Ferentz, first off, good afternoon. Dan Stacy, Sportscast Media. Last year, late in the regular season, you used, as in the Nebraska game, you used a backup field goal kicker, and you worked really well. You won the game on the last second kick. Who is your backup field goal kicker this year if you decide to use one for whatever reason for Drew Stevens if you do the backup field goal kicker? Thank you.
Yeah, right now it's Trip Woody, and we're hoping we don't have to do that. You never want to do that, but that day it just didn't have a good vibe. Drew was struggling a little bit, and keep in mind he was a second-year guy, and I think all players, the more they've done things, the more comfortable and confident they get. He's been a whole different person this past semester. Now we're moving into a new semester, but just carrying himself a little bit differently. And I don't mind telling you, it was an item of curiosity for me just to see how he'd go through spring and now the summer. And he's kicking the ball well and kicking with confidence, so keep our fingers crossed there.
Kirk, Tom Kager, Hawkeye Report. How are you?
Good.
Defensive line depth is a question mark coming into this. What have you seen from that group so far in terms of developing some of that depth in the game?
Yeah, I think I mentioned three guys. Jeremiah Pittman inside had a good spring. He's continuing to do well. So I think we have three guys that we feel pretty good about there. A couple candidates for that fourth spot, and they're competing at it. And then